About ready to pour a stamp patio. All right, we just unloaded the second truck. We still have to bull float this side. We got to get on there and hand float it. Just give it any kind of marks that the bull float will leave in there. We like to get on there with knee boards or sliders and kind of hand float it out. And we're going to edge the sides and cut our joints in for the border. And you guys will see that live in a minute. We're going to snap some lines in the wet concrete to differentiate the wood section of the patio and the stone side. We put some nails in the forms earlier to mark where we got to be so we're square to the porch. You're gonna have to get your sliders on and do this whole area, because if I just even touch up where I'm at, then it's gonna look different than the rest of it. I'll be over there in a second.
I think we're going to have to. Probably in this corner.
Start over there, huh?
And I think we're just going to work our way towards the house. Yeah. Even though we don't go straight lines, we'll be able to keep it straight. As long as we start another row, keeping off.
Oh yeah. You want to snap that, bud?
Go ahead, ready?
Got it? Need the tamper done?
I'm gonna.
Johnny, hit this corner towards me right here.
How's it look, Don? Looks pretty bad.
Stick it to the stamp? No, you're good. Is it all getting there? You like that, Don?
It's in there. Oh, it's all the way in. Every bit of it. Yeah. Final full length on this one there. Just tell me. We're gonna.
All right, I'm
good.
good.
A couple this way.
this is where all the hard work begins, right here in the stamping process, because you're kind of sitting and waiting, and then when the concrete starts to take off, you really got to hit it hard to get a consistent impression all the way across the patio. So right now we're using seamless skins up here to put this stone texture in, and now the wood plank stamps are going in down here. We have the Tree of Life stamp right here, and the sidewalk back here has been shaded the whole time. Even though we put the concrete down over here first, it's actually taking longer to set up. So we got time to get back onto that, and we want to work towards the sun right now. Tomorrow, after the concrete cures a little bit, we're going to put on teak wash and our React stains, and then that's when the texture, the color, the character of the patio really pops out.
Bring that green one up.
Well, no, I know it's probably going to take up make the noise.
Guys, we're using liquid release to keep our stamps from sticking to the concrete. It's just a clear liquid that goes down and evaporates, and in a relatively short time, and nothing's left on the concrete to be a bond breaker or anything like that. You can proceed the next day with your finishing techniques. We used the heavy quarry stone in here a little bit, and we didn't use it in the border, but it kind of looks, the transition's a little stark, so he's going to come through with this 2x2 heavy quarry and put some clefts in the border to kind of pair it together. Alright, stamping with seamless skins is really easy, but you can make it much more difficult, and really all you do is overlap these stamps, and by 4 to 6 inches. But what you don't want to do is take a tamper and start burying an edge down into the concrete. Even if it's overlapped by another stamp like right here, if I take this and blast this in real hard, the edge, even though it's really a skinny edge, it'll still leave a seam then, so it won't be seamless. If that's the look you're after, that's fine, but most of the time you don't want to see almost like a square pattern of the seamless skin on there. And then as you work forward, you just kind of peel these back and gently lift up the stamp. Get it up on top of your other ones, take the handles, bend it together like a taco, and then that's how you lay it down on the next positioning. Just come through, stamp it, keep a couple inches away from the edges. Concrete's a little bit softer over here, so you don't want to be rocking back and forth on the balls of your feet and your heels, otherwise it might leave an impression. Forgot to tamp it. That's another thing. Look under your stamp, make sure that you tamped it in and you're happy with the impression before you pick it up and move it, because you never line it up in the same spot again. We pre-cut a piece of masonite that was the same size as that Tree of Life stamp, and that's just so as we stamp around it, we aren't going to accidentally stamp the wood grain into the Tree of Life.
Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half since we finished up stamping. It's almost 85 degrees today, and this firmed up really nice. So we're going to go ahead and start doing the detail work instead of wait until it's hard tomorrow. So we've got our little grout tools, we got some diamond sanders, a little channel cutter to touch up the joints. So we basically at this point get on our knees, we go over the whole slab, look for any detail work we got to do, take care of our joints that we have between our transition from our wood into our seamless skin, and then I'm going to have some detail work that's involved in that Tree of Life stamp that we did earlier today. So just follow along. So in this case, we see here our joint's a little faint. We did have some rough spots on the concrete. So this tool here, a little carbide bit, you just drag it right into this original line, scores a little bit deeper, and this is going to look absolutely perfect when we do the antiquing. So examples, you see, all the stampers know you get these squeeze joints in here, and doing it this time of day, these almost disappear with your hand, so we use these little grout saws. We just wipe that stuff off. It's just a bare touch in there, and you know you're going to end up with little pieces of exposed concrete, but when we antique this whole slab, that's just going to add extra detail and texture to this and give it the authentic look of an old plank stamp. So that'll be the main focus we do now. And you just basically go up and down the slab, zip them off as you go, and 20 minutes we'll have this slab done. It's going to look like just plank. That's going to look great. All right, now we're down to our tree of life. It was an experiment. It's the first time using this, and it seemed to work pretty well. We'll have a little bit of detail work. I've got to just take off some extra squeeze that we had on these edges here. This is going to be stained separately, so there's going to be a lot of detail into here and the leaves. And yeah, that came out pretty good. We got the full impression in. Again, this little carbide bit tool, it just chews through concrete like butter. What I'm doing here is I'm just using a 60 grit diamond pad, hand diamond pad, because we did have some lines in from our original snapping our line. So this is a good enough grit to be aggressive, but it's not going to leave any permanent marks. So I'm just going to get rid of any abnormal lines that we have in here. All right guys, we are washing the slab down, hosing it off, getting rid of some extra residual dust and the residue from the liquid release, which even though it is solvent based, it's very mild, and just a little bit of pressure from a hose will take that off your surface. So this is going to be perfectly suited to do the antiquing shortly after this. It is the same day, but there is no problem doing your antique wash the day of your pour if you have the time and start early enough. And that just leaves your final finishes the following day. Just so you know, all the products for stamping that you saw in this video or didn't see are available at walttools.com or your local distributor. So make sure you check with them to see if they have that availability. If not, you can always give us a call. Just look us up at www.walttools.com.